Okay, we're recording.
Yay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Deep Grooves. It's been a minute.
It's our first remote.
Non-remote.
Remote.
Remote?
Yeah, we're in a remote setting.
Okay, yes.
We're in the record store.
Yeah.
Paramount Record Shop, 402 East Main Street,
And we
Watertown.
And we got t-shirts.
Cars are whizzing past.
Yeah. This is post-vaccine kind of life, so hopefully if you guys like us doing it like this, we'll keep doing it like this. It's a lot more fun because then I can,
Because Zoom sucks.
Yeah, Zoom is kind of getting old. So, yeah, so today, first of all, everybody like and subscribe, invite your friends, tell your record-loving friends about this show. But today, what are we talking about, Ken?
Talking about live rock records that are not the typical obvious stuff.
Yeah.
So
what are the typical obvious records?
I came up with a list here of live rock records that should be obvious to everyone. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have any of the things on this list, we're kind of starting assuming that everybody's got all these and they know about them. So the stuff we're going to talk about is a little less obvious. So here's my list. Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies. Okay, the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore. Mm-hmm. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Four-Way Street. Grateful Dead, Europe 72. And this last one may surprise you.
Yeah.
Peter Frampton, Comes Alive.
Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah. So those are all. Yeah. If you haven't checked those out, then you gotta pause this video and then
go buy them, listen to them, and then come back and watch the rest of the video.
Yeah. Definitely. Cool. So I'll get started. Let me see which one do I want to start with. So I'm kind of. I feel like yours are probably gonna be more in the. Wait a minute. Did I only end up with 4? What have I done? Okay. Well, we'll just.
Good thing we're in a record shop.
Yeah, right. While you're talking about one, I'll just go pick one out. Okay.
Well, I'll go first then.
Okay, you go first.
All right. So this is one of my all-time favorite live records. This is what rock and roll is all about. Rod Stewart and the Faces live, coast to coast, overture and beginners. Okay. So this is the Faces with Rod Stewart. This is just balls to the wall. Tear your face off rock and roll. If you're not familiar with the Faces, you gotta listen to this. In fact, if you're not familiar with the Faces, this is a great place to start because they were a great studio band, but they were also an amazing live band. So it starts out with a lot of crowd noise and the mayhem of one of their shows, but killer live album. Cool. If you're into like just straight ahead rock and roll, you gotta hear this. Nice. This is a pretty easy record to get. I mean, we've almost always got this in stock.
Yeah. Cool. So first up on my list, I don't know how much we've talked about Jeff Beck. I know I brought him up a couple times, but this is Jeff Beck and the Jan Hammer Group live. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it's just Jeff Beck and the Jan Hammer Group. So this is after Jeff Beck did Blow by Blow and Wired, and he was kind of going for a Mahavishnu Orchestra style thing. Let me make sure this is recording, by the way. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So he ended up basically just stealing Jan Hammer from Mahavishnu Orchestra, and it's still basically a rock record. But obviously Jan Hammer is kind of a jazz rock pianist.
I would say more fusion.
Fusion, yeah. I mean, there's no standards on here. That's basically, straight ahead stuff. There's some cool tracks on here. He does "She's a Woman." That's the Beatles cover where he does it with a talk box. Blue Wind, which is from Wired. Earth Still Our Only Home is kind of a funk thing. I think that's a Jan Hammer tune. But yeah, this was one of those records that when it came out, a lot of the critics were like, see how out of control Fusion has gotten? It's just everybody's playing over each other and there's just too much noise. But I don't know. I have a lot of fun listening to this record, and I don't know. I feel like Jeff Beck is always pretty tasteful. He gets wild, but I always feel like he leaves a lot of space. And
and he always has the best players.
yeah, it's a great group.
He's never had a bad band, I don't think.
No. So this is a cool record. Kind of a mixture of his rock stuff and his more fusion-oriented stuff. I recommend this one for sure.
So my next pick is Humble Pie performance rocking at the Fillmore. This is a live Humble Pie show at the Fillmore East, I believe, with Peter Frampton. So if you haven't experienced the interplay between Frampton and Steve Marriott, which, by the way, Rod Stewart replaced Marriott, right?
I'm not as hip in that area.
Yeah, well, Steve Marriott was the original Small Faces vocalist.
Okay.
So Rod Stewart basically replaced him when he went to form Humble Pie, and that's why they call it the Faces instead of the Small Faces. So
cool.
Yeah, this is a great set. I mean, Peter Frampton is an amazing guitar player. Yeah, he put out some cheesy songs here and there, but man, you cannot deny what a great guitarist he is.
Yeah.
And vocalist, for that matter. So this, again, just straight ahead hard rock. A lot of their sort of classics. I Don't Need No Doctor is like the epic ending track, you know. They start out with 4-Day Creep, Stone Cold Fever, I mean, Rolling Stone, just amazing stuff. And for those who don't know, Frampton was basically on, I believe, just a couple of studio albums and this live album. So there is a 4 or 5 LP edition of this out there somewhere. So they did a box set called Complete Performance. So look for that.
Nice.
I don't think it's that expensive, but it was out for a short time. This is a great gatefold too.
Oh man, yeah, I love those.
Yeah, it's got the brown label A&M.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, so if you're into just straight ahead hard rock, check this out, because these Marriott and Frampton are both amazing guitarists. They're both amazing vocalists. So
none of the records I'm looking for are in here. Okay. So next, we mentioned Europe '72 is kind of I think the quintessential live Grateful Dead record. Also, Live Dead that one's a little bit less accessible, but that's a killer record, man.
There's a lot of great live Dead records.
I mean, that's the way to listen to them for sure. And this is another one. This is probably one of the first records I got when we, a long time ago, you took me out to Madison, I think, and I got like a big, you kind of helped me put together a prog collection when I was starting to get into prog. And I think this made it into the group, and then I didn't really listen to it, and then I got into the Grateful Dead, and here it was. This is Reckoning by the Grateful Dead, obviously. And this is like, as you can see in the picture, this is kind of in a more acoustic set as opposed to, how they normally play. And so it's kind of like a live continuation of the records they did, like American Beauty and Working Man's Dead. And they got some of the tunes from there on here, like, let's see, what are they? Ripple, Dire Wolf, etc. But so this is the more laid back, more bluegrassy a little bit, and of course the harmonies and everything. But I just love listening to the Grateful Dead, even no matter what they're playing. I like the vibe and Jerry singing and all the musicians on here. So this is a cool one. I'm sure if we had a severe Deadhead in here, probably be like, yeah, but you haven't heard this one. So, but this is a really good one. I mean, anything you can find by them is going to be, especially if it's live, is going to be super
Yeah,
cool.
there are no bad live Dead records.
Yeah. Even
don't
if
think.
well, there's somewhere I listen to it where I'm like, wow, you're really going for that. But I just like their sound so much that no matter what they're playing, I just like enjoy being in the wash of whatever they're doing.
Yeah, they went through a lot of phases.
Yeah.
But usually if I don't like it, it's me. It's not them.
Right.
It's like I don't quite get it yet.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so I listen to it 4 or 5 times and it's like, oh yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah.
So my next pick is a prog classic. Renaissance Live at Carnegie Hall. If you're not familiar with the band Renaissance, they basically grew out of the Yardbirds, which is kind of weird because the Yardbirds were not, they had nothing to do with prog.
No.
But this is sort of their classic lineup here, I guess you'd say, without the guys from the Yardbirds. This is John Tout, Annie Haslam, John Camp, Terrence Sullivan, and Michael Donford. Just a great kind of laid-back prog record. These guys did a lot of great studio records as well, and I think this might be their only live thing, but they do Prologue, Ocean Gypsy is one of my favorites, Carpet of the Sun, Mother Russia, another one I love. Scheherazade, and then Ashes Are Burning is like the last side. So, yeah, again, this is a record you can pick up for very little money. It's pretty common. Almost every shop would have this in stock.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of essential live prog records, this is probably the quintessential live prog record, I would say. And I think I talked about this way long time ago when we did a kind of our prog segment, which might have been the first episode we did, or maybe the third. Maybe we did jazz first. But this is Yes Songs, and this was, I mean, I wasn't there, but back in the 70s, this was kind of in everybody's collection, and it was kind of the essential. I mean, it has all of the cool Yes songs from that point on it. It opens with the Firebird, which is what they, by Stravinsky, which they used to walk into. Siberian Khatru, Heart of the Sun. I don't need to read all the tunes on here. They're all the cool songs. Close to the Edge, they do all of Close to the Edge.
and that's probably the coolest part about it.
Yeah.
Close to the Edge live.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's probably not for people who don't listen to Yes.
No.
It's pretty. It's a lot of Yes.
It's a lot of Yes. But look at this. Oh, man.
A lot of
Roger Dean,
A lot of
dude.
Roger Dean.
We love Roger Dean. Oh, man. Look at that. It's incredible. So, yeah. So if you like them, if you've maybe listened to 1 or 2 records and you want to get more into see where you want to go next with your listening, this might be a good option. The sound quality is okay. It's not a hi-fi recording, but and they, this is like I kind of talked about with the Jeff Beck record. This is when critics started to think, maybe these prog guys are a little out of control. Is this a triple LP? This is a triple LP. So they're getting a little bit into the excess, and a lot of people thought that was kind of ridiculous. And it is a little bit ridiculous, but it's all good music. So,
Well, it's 70s.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah. So, and this is I don't think this was the last record with Wakeman on it. I think maybe
No.
what was the one, Tales from Topographic Oceans, maybe came after this, and then he split for a bit, and then he came back for
Well, he's left many times.
yeah. But apparently
They all
like
have.
apparently when they were touring and this is so actually no, this is when Bill Bruford left. So he's on a couple of these tracks, and then Alan White's on a couple of them. But apparently when they were touring Tales from Topographic Oceans, Rick Wakeman didn't like that record, and he would be like eating Chinese food on stage behind his keyboards while they were playing the music. And anyways, so then he split for a while and came back for what was the record he came back on with Awakening and Going for the One? That's what it was. Okay.
So my next pick is one of my favorite bands, Traffic. But they're not listed as Traffic, which is weird. They're listed as Steve Winwood, Jim Capaldi, Dave Mason, Chris Wood, Rick Gretsch, Rebop, Kwaku Ba, and Jim Gordon. Did you know Jim Gordon drummed for Traffic?
The lieutenant from Batman?
No, Jim Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon.
From no, from Derek and the Dom.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it's basically it's a live Traffic record, recorded live at Fairfield Hall, Croydon, and the Oz Benefit Concert, London. But yeah, I love Traffic, and this is a really good live set. I mean, some really tight band and really good picks. So there is other live Traffic records out there, but check out this one. Again, really easy to find, fairly common, but great sounding too.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one. I gotta hunt that one down.
We have it in stock.
Oh. So this is another prog thing. I tried not to lean too heavy on the prog thing because we could have done it different. You know, we already talked about it, but this I haven't talked about this record yet. I don't think. This is Genesis Live, and this is kind of when they were in my opinion, in their peak of the music they were making. Oh, actually, this is before Selling England by the Pound, which is kind of my favorite record. But there's cool stuff on here. And
still Peter Gabriel.
Oh yeah. This is deep into Peter. Well, who else would wear that?
Yeah.
You know. So this is them kind of doing some of their earlier stuff. So The Knife, which I think was one of off either their first or their second record, and then Return of the Giant Hogweed was off of Nursery Crimes, and then let's see, Musical Box, also off of Nursery Crimes. So it's their earlier stuff. And the crazy thing about Genesis is it's crazy that they can sound like that on the record, but it's also crazy that they can sound like that live. You know, like they sound like an orchestra. The one complaint I have about this is that it's not 3 discs long like the Yes one. So like, we have a picture of him. So what he's wearing here.
There's other live Genesis.
There are, but it's after he left.
Seconds out.
Yeah, but Peter Gabriel's not on that one.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I thought he was.
No, Phil Collins sings. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look it up. But so they have him in a costume here, and if you look up Genesis Live with Peter Gabriel, you'll find there's like a whole set of the music they used to play and the costumes he would wear. So the costume he's wearing here is from when they would do Supper's Ready, which is off of Foxtrot, which is kind of like they're close to the edge. Basically, it's like a 20-minute long suite, and it's incredible. And it's not on here, even though they have him singing it on the cover. But yeah, this is a cool record, and I mean, anything by Genesis from that period, for me, I think is incredible.
So this is my last pick. I just got this. This is one of the best funk albums I've ever heard in my life. Buddy Miles live. And basically what it sounds like is kind of the Banded Gypsies with horns. It's really funky, man. Killer. Buddy Miles does most of the vocal work. Check out this gatefold. So yeah, I mean, they do them changes and all the obvious stuff, but they do a really amazing version of Down by the River by Neil Young.
Oh wow, okay.
Kind of a funky fusion version. So yeah, Buddy Miles,
That's
Express live. Killer record. I've heard a lot of other Buddy Miles stuff that didn't really do it for me, but this one, I can't get enough. I just keep playing it over and over and over. It's so funky.
Yeah.
So,
You know who we haven't talked about a lot on this channel?
Cream.
Yeah. And this could definitely be under obvious picks, but it wasn't on the list. So, and I couldn't find any of the other ones that I was thinking about talking about today.
Well, the Peter Gabriel, the last one was a little sketchy. I mean, that there's several other records that could be
Yeah.
the number 5 pick, and that's
Yeah.
one of them.
This is one of them. Yeah. So there was two live Cream records. This one I'm not as familiar with. I listened to the second one more. It's got more of their more famous songs on it, but it's cool. It's nice to hear them with all the production and the overdubs and stuff, but it's also cool to just hear them as a trio, just like shooting off into outer space.
That's when they shined.
Yeah. And Clapton, he doesn't always do it for me. Sometimes he doesn't do it for me. But with Cream, the balance of everybody's personalities was so like perfectly just crammed into this little group. And
and that's what it was. It's probably the most balanced trio record.
Yeah,
because they both sing. In fact, they both sing inside songs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's a lot of songs where one guy will sing the verse and the other guy will sing the chorus.
Yeah.
They got a very complimentary, vocal styles and voices.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Ginger Baker pretty much is an orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean.
Amazing. And Jack Bruce, who else? I mean, it wasn't weird to me when I started listening to it, but now that I think about, he was probably the first rock player to play fretless. Maybe the only.
He was the first rock player to play chords.
That too. Yeah.
When Clapton would go into a screaming lead, he'd take over on chords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's really done that much since him.
No.
I mean, at least not the way he did it.
Yeah. He was they were all, very special cutting edge musicians, and it comes out in these records. So this one, and then I think it's just Live Cream 2 or something like that, which is also really good. That one's got like White Room and I don't know, the more famous ones. These are like
hits.
This is like Sleepy Time, Sweet Wine, Rolling and Tumbling. The more like blues kind of oriented stuff. It's all good though. So that's my last pick. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. And there's like a bell you can hit. I'm not a YouTuber, but and then Ken, if someone wants to pick up any of these records that we're talking about, where can they go? Where will they find?
Well, right here. I mean, most of the stuff that I showed is actually in stock today. Mm-hmm. So run down and grab them before somebody else gets to them.
Yep.
And the other thing is, we got to mention we got Record Store Day coming up, June 12th.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing all kinds of wacky special things for that. In fact, we've got a massive load of t-shirts that we just got in.
Grab a couple.
Some of the best t-shirts I've ever seen in my life, and some of the most obscure t-shirts. So we're going to be putting those out for Record Store Day. We got lots of records, like used stuff that we're putting out.
Look at these. Look at that. Wow.
So lots of cool stuff happening. We're going to open early that day. So we'll be open at 10 o'clock. So come on down and check it out. And hopefully you can go home with a stack of records.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're definitely going to find stuff. It's going to be great. So we'll see you all then. And come by and get your Paramount Record Shop t-shirt so that you can let everybody know who you represent. All right. See you all. See you everybody. Bye-bye.